The more things change, the more they stay the same. Welcome to NHL Wraparound Stanley Cupdate. It is Tuesday, May 26th, 2026. Vic and Neil on the back end, the holiday weekend. Did you do any cooking out?
I always cook out. How about you?
I grilled, the usual, the burgers and franks. But in the fruit salad, I actually had a hydroponic strawberry.
A hydroponic strawberry. Is that one that skips across the water?
No, that is a method of growing plants, in this case a strawberry, without soil, using water-based mineral nutrients instead. And I will tell you, it bursts with flavor.
That's great. Does it give you a good, healthy body and composition?
I'm doing this with you this morning, aren't I?
Well, you're still alive.
That's right. So we open the show. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The only thing that really changed from games 2 to 3 were the uniforms.
Yeah, the guys that were in dark went into white. The guys that were in white went into red. And the building was the Bell Center in Montreal.
But did that game look very similar to what we saw in game 2 down in Raleigh?
We talked about this yesterday. It was rope-a-dope all over again.
And the result of this game, another overtime win for the Hurricanes, 3-2 to take a 2-1 series lead. Neil, similar to games 1 and 2, relatively fast start for the Canes. William Carrier, Eric Robinson, and Mark Jankowski do the work in the corners, behind the net. A shot by Jankowski comes out, and it's Shane Gostisbehere coming in from the left point to beat Jakub Dobiš to give the Canes a 1-0 lead. On that play, all 5 Canadians on the same side of the ice focused on the puck.
The thing is that you can see on the replay, Shane Gostisbehere recognizes the play and fades into the high slot on the left side and is in no man's land. There's nobody near him. So when that rebound came out, he was all alone to swat it back towards the net and past Dobiš.
Canadians got a pretty good chance midway through the first. Alex Carrier, with a shot towards the net, went off Juraj Slafkovsky's skate, and then Frederik Andersen's pad, and then the outside of the post. But didn't take long after that, with Alex Newhook and Jake Evans separating Alexander Nikishin from the puck, and it's Ivan Davidov to Mike Matheson in the high slot with 4:32 left in the period. And this was a play where, kind of similar to the Hurricanes' opening goal, where there was no attention given to Gostisbehere, this was a missed assignment by Jordan Martinook to lead to that goal.
And Martinook got himself out of position on this, yes, because it's his job to cover that point man, but he also stumbled. And that stumble of like 1 to 2 seconds gave enough time for Matheson to get into that high slot area and be able to beat Andersen over the glove into the top corner.
The feel-good lasted about 54 seconds because Jackson Blake got a puck into the corner. AndreMiller going in deep, centers the puck, and Taylor Hall bangs in the rebound to make it 2-1.
And the thing on this one, if you want to talk about the forward, the winger, his assignment is that point man. In this one, Josh Anderson, this time of the Montreal Canadiens, was supposed to have Miller. Miller jumped quickly, went in deep, got the puck before Anderson could stay with him, and centered it out. And you're right, Taylor Hall bangs it in from a scrum right around the crease.
Big pad stop late in the first, kept it 2-1. That was Dobiš off Andrei Svechnikov, who I think we'll hear from later on. But first period, Neil, shots were 15-5 for the Hurricanes and attempts 33-13. 8 of the 15 shots by defensemen and 15 of the 33 attempts. So the Carolina defense really getting involved in the offensive part of this game.
Yes, and obviously Rod Brind'Amour has got his defense really activated in the offensive zone, and it really showed in this game.
Start of the second period, Dobish had to make a big save in close on a power play attempt by Nikolai Ehlers, and then following somewhat of a questionable slashing penalty on Martinuk, it's Lane Hudson converting on a give and go with Cole Caulfield at 4:43 to even the game at 2.
It wasn't just questionable, it was an awful call. That was a terrible call. What happened was Martinuk hit Hudson's stick and knocked it out of his hands. He didn't break the stick. But they called a slashing penalty on knocking a guy's stick out of his hands. Now, that doesn't make any sense at all. None whatsoever. You know, maybe if you wanted to say it was interference because the guy wasn't doing anything, but was not a slashing penalty. I've never heard of slashing being stick on stick unless the stick breaks.
Nonetheless, Carolina continues to bring it. Gostisbehere hit a post on the power play late in the second, and then was stopped by Dobish on a redirect of a Nikolai Ehlers pass in the closing minutes of the period. Shots 25-11, attempts 60-30 at the end of 2 periods. And as I'm watching this, Neil, I'm just getting a sense here that the only way that Montreal can really compete in this series is to try to play their game, meaning Carolina's game, meaning throw pucks at the net, try to forecheck, maybe a little bit less off the rush, and sustain some action. Now, whether or not they're able to execute that over an appreciable amount of time, I tend to doubt it, but they can't keep playing this way, and these numbers are reflective of the territorial dominance by Carolina.
But, Vic, you know, this was the same thing with Tampa Bay. I mean, it was the same thing with Buffalo at the end of the series. They don't have the personnel to put on these great offensive threats and throwing pucks at the net and getting in and getting scoring chances. They've won 2 series with the rope-a-dope, and they won game 1 with the rope-a-dope. So I don't think that they're capable of playing the way Carolina plays, which is putting the pedal to the metal and going on offense. I just think that they don't have the personnel to do that. And the game plan that's been winning for them so far is this one. Now, remember, this is the first time in these playoffs Montreal has lost back-to-back games. So if you're win one, lose one, you're okay. You feel like you're okay playing that style. I don't think they're okay anymore.
However, Montreal almost went ahead about 8.5 minutes into the third period. The potential go-ahead goal by Noah Dobson was nullified by Cole Caulfield just preceding the puck into the Carolina zone.
He did. He took the puck in offside, and that nullified that goal by Dobson, and that would have been the go-ahead 3-2 score at that time for the Habs.
Dobish had to stop Aho in alone with a little under 6 minutes left, and then about a half minute later, Matheson hit a goal post. But overall, I thought that this period was relatively conservative by both teams.
I think Carolina was more conservative in this third period and not taking as many chances, but still their opposition, the Montreal Canadiens, at home, were only able to muster 1 shot on net in the third period. The shots ended up 7-1.
And of course, hitting the iron does not count as a shot on goal. However, first minute of the overtime, Captain Nick Suzuki missed in close. Puck might have grazed the goalpost, but there was no doubt of Matheson's shot hitting a crossbar a few seconds later. And then middle of the overtime on a 3-on-2, it's Chatfield getting stopped by Dobish coming in late off the break-in. And then a miss too many men on ice on the Canadiens with about 7:45 left. And this one had the officials going over this and trying to decide whether or not to call a penalty. Of course, one of the most famous too many men on ice penalty took place in 1979, that 7th game semifinal between the Canadiens and Bruins. Would have been something if this actually came back to bite the Canadiens in their own building.
Yeah, and Don Cherry wasn't even at this game. He's the coach of the Boston Bruins back then, when everybody says that that's what cost them the Stanley Cup that year.
Go back and look at that. There were 6 guys on the ice for 20 seconds. So anyway, we digress. Lane Hudson, soon after that, a neutral zone turnover, and eventually it's Svechnikov with a shot through a screen set by Sebastian Aho. The puck goes off Dobish's glove. At 14:06 of overtime, the win goes to Carolina. Overall attempts, 92-46. And the Canadiens, one official shot on goal in the final 37 minutes and 40 seconds. And we talk about the incessant pressure that Carolina puts on teams. And look, not every shot that they take is a high-quality shot. I mean, there's a lot of shots from along the boards. They will just shoot from everywhere. But in its way, it wears on teams. And the Canadiens have played the equivalent of 5.5 more games than have the Hurricanes in these playoffs. And even though Hudson took it upon himself for pass that got picked off, truth is, that could be mental fatigue for him as well.
Oh, absolutely. Or just a mistake. But the Canadiens have played a lot more hockey than have the Hurricanes. And we talked about this, about the rest, about the 11 days off. Would it be rust or would it be fatigue for the Habs, who played 14 games and had basically no time off? And the Habs came out in the first game and made the Carolina Hurricanes look like they hadn't played for a year. But now the Hurricanes have got their game back. They're 5-0 in overtime. It's surprising that each game they've won in overtime, all 5 of them, have been by a 3-2 score. And as we said earlier, first time that the Montreal Canadiens have lost 2 straight. When they lose, they bounced back with a win. Not this time.
They had to block 34 shots during the course of this game. And the 11 days off, yes, we did see the rust in game 1, but this is now where it is starting to manifest itself in a positive way for Carolina.
Absolutely. It's a grind as these series go on. It's a grind. Montreal has been grinding right from the Tampa Bay series, right through the Buffalo series, and now against Carolina. Not any easy opponents.
The Canes look to put a stranglehold on this series Wednesday, 8 o'clock on TNT. Tuesday evening, Colorado and Vegas will play Game 4. Their series, 9 o'clock on ESPN. Golden Knights leading 3-0. The news heading into this game will be the status of star forward Nathan MacKinnon for the Avalanche. He took that puck off the knee during the second period of Sunday's loss. And Jared Bednar has said, we'll take a limited MacKinnon. But the truth is, if he plays on the power play and he's not mobile, how effective can this power play really be?
It can't. MacKinnon and Makar are the huge cogs in that wheel. We've seen Makar hurt with a bad shoulder. He's playing with one shoulder now when he plays in the games, and now MacKinnon's playing on one leg. Pretty good advantage for the Vegas Golden Knights.
I think Vegas is just going to continue to try to push this because, as we have seen in this series, they have won with their checking, and they have also stood up very well in open ice play against the Avs.
They certainly have. They've done everything right. I mean, they're up 3-0 for a reason. Again, I'm going to say it. I would be surprised if Colorado lost 4 straight. I still think that the championship caliber of this team, meaning the President's Trophy and a lot of the guys from the 2022 Stanley Cup, will dig down and win one game, and that would be tonight. But we'll have to see.
What does it tell you, though, that Vegas has managed to win also at Colorado's preferred style, Game 3?
Yeah, it tells me that they can play any which way you want to play. They are a scary team, meaning the Vegas Golden Knights. They're healthy. Their top players are playing like very top players. Eichel, Marner, Stone. Stone comes back after missing those games and scores a goal right away. Carter Hart is playing like he was in Philadelphia in the beginning of his career. Their defense is playing really well. They are a force to be reckoned with. This isn't the team that we saw during the regular season.
No, it wasn't. So once again, 9 o'clock on ESPN, and we'll see whether MacKinnon can play a regular shift, just the power play, or perhaps he's kept out of the lineup completely.
Yeah, I mean, Kudos to him if he comes into the lineup tonight, because when you get a shot where he took that shot, your leg blows right up. You could see that he couldn't skate near the end of that game when he took that shift. He went by the benches and came right back and went off. His leg was probably really swollen at that point.
And for him to not be able to go, he's really got to be hurt. But we'll see, because no decision as of this recording this morning. Before we leave, Neil, I want to talk about his teammate and the captain of the Avs, Gabriel Landeskog, and a real good piece I read this morning by Pat Graham and Jonathan Wino about Landeskog using sensors in his skates and shoes to monitor his reconstructive right knee. It's a company called Plantiga. It's an AI-driven movement platform that records biomechanical measurements of all the movement patterns to determine the characteristics of symmetry and skating patterns, and it informs Landeskog whether the stress on the leg is reaching maximum capacity. So just the technology that is enabling not only Landeskog, but also athletes across all sports to be able to see in real time how their body is responding to a former injury. It's really remarkable.
It is. It's space age, to say the least. I'm really glad. You can't help but cheer for Gabriel Landeskog, though. Loses 2 years of hockey and comes back and sticks with it and doesn't give up, and is still the captain, the longest serving captain for the Colorado Avalanche. If I had asked you who's the longest serving captain, you'd probably say Joe Sakic. I mean, I would think that most people would say Joe Sakic. It's not. It's Landeskog.
His original injury took place in the bubble in 2020. It was a skate cut, and he managed to play through that and win the cup, raise it with the Avs in Tampa in 2022. Then he missed the following season, had cartilage replacement surgery in May of 2023. Returned in Game 3 against Dallas last season. He had gone 1,062 days between games, that last game when they won the Stanley Cup. 14 goals, 35 points in 60 games this year. 5-5-10 in the playoffs thus far, appearing in all 12 games. He is a Masterton Trophy nominee. Few players could be more deserving of this.
Yeah, and of course the other nominees are Rasmus Dahlin in Buffalo, whose fiancée went through heart replacement surgery. And of course, Jonathan Toews, who's had his own comeback story of missing a lot of time before signing with the Winnipeg Jets, his hometown, by the way, and playing there. So all three have great, great stories of comebacks. Personally, I think Landeskog is most deserving because his team has won the President's Trophy, and I just think he's the best one. But all three are very good nominees.
But just to read the measures that Landeskog is taking now to ensure that that knee will hold up for the balance of his career. And even beyond that, because you certainly want quality of life after you play. It was really something to read.
Maybe I should get that because, I had right knee total replacement back in 2017. I got to figure out how I'm walking on this leg. I feel like a pirate with a wooden leg.
Well, of course, we continue to wish you good health. Our website is NHL Wraparound, and our Anaheim Ducks spring cleaning dropped at midnight on Tuesday, so check that out. The Buffalo Sabres will be next, and Neil and I will be back on Wednesday to recap Game 4, Colorado and Vegas. Look forward to speaking with you then.